the country, the people, and the fitness industry. It's important that I share because all of this is absolutely essential, because either positively or negatively, they will impact us. Welcome back, my friends. Todd Durkin here, and I'm so excited for today's Impact Show podcast. I hope you're having a fantastic day. You're super fired up for an awesome week. And let me tell you what, buckle up your bootstraps today. This month of May has been off the hook. And if there's ever a time I share some big news with you, it is this month. And I'm going to warn you. I'm going to warn you today that there is as much negativity in this podcast as you'll ever hear out of my voice. That's right, because I'm addressing some very difficult topics. And people are always like, hey, TD, you're like one of the most positive people. Are you ever going to address politics or the country? I'm like, no, I'm staying away from that stuff. Well, I'm going to touch upon it today. I'm going to share some things today, positive or negative. You can take it as you want. I'm not going to get political, but I'm going to share my thoughts on how we as humans, as coaches, trainers, fit pros, life transformers, what we can do about this, because it doesn't mean that we're going to get negative or positive, but I can tell you this, I'm going to share some realities today and how I believe that we, as we're listening to this right now, how we can make a difference in our country, we can make a difference with our people, and we can undoubtedly impact our fitness industry in a positive manner. So with that being said, I hope you're really fired up for today. I'm going to keep it rolling. You're like, well, why are you addressing this? I want to do a State of the Union. I want to do a State of the Union address because we're on the eve of perhaps my biggest announcement in my 25 plus year career within the fitness and coaching industry. And I felt it was important that I share with you some of my thought processes of why I'm doing and about to do and about to announce what the heck is going on and why I'm making some of these steps to impact people the way I believe that we're going to do that. And I believe that when you look at some of the pains that our country is in, where our world is in, where people are at, where the fitness industry is at, you can do one of three things. You can join them, you can fight them, or you could be the solution. That's right. Join them, fight them, or be the solution. I'm not sure which one you would like to do, where you fit in, but you could join them, you could fight it, or we could be the solution. And my hope today is not to fire you up so much that you say join them or fight them. I want us to be the solution to that. And some of these things may resonate and some of it may not. That's cool. But I'm gonna be as objective as possible as I share my thoughts with you. And I'll just share this, that next week's episode is one where I share what I'm going to be doing moving forward with my career. Yes, next week on the show, I'm going to be sharing what I'm doing moving forward with my career, locally, nationally, and globally. And dare I say it is the most important time of my career. And dare I say it is the most important time of your life as well. Now is the time, my friends. Many of you have been listening in for 358 episodes. Some of you for the last 100. Some of you just started following. Welcome to the Impact Show. And since day one, I've always shared unequivocally and been transparent, authentic, genuine, to try to put more positive impact into the world, because I believe undoubtedly right now, this is the most important time in our nation's history, in our world's history, for my beloved fitness industry. And of course, for you as well. Now is an absolutely crucial time for all of us. And that being said, my big announcement is next week. And I've been working on it for years. And the last year specifically, it's gotten very deep. And please permit me a few minutes here, 10, 15 minutes or so, to share some of my thoughts, insights, and realities with you. And Whether you view them as positive, whether you view them as negative, I'm looking at them as facts. So this is my State of the Union. These are going to be facts I'm going to share. And I don't want to just share facts. I hate when people just share thoughts and not solutions. So I'm going to share my solutions as well. But my solutions are coming out next week. Today are the facts. Next week are my solutions. That's all going to come on episode 359. And this is my State of the Union. So with that being said, are you ready? I got to ask you, are you ready for what I'm about to share on all aspects of politics, of people, and of course the fitness industry? Because I'm about to dive in. I'm about to dive in deep. And before I do that, I got count them, two quick announcements that I want you to be part of because I think it's part of the solution. Number one is this. Here's my two quick announcements. Number one, you heard about the Impact Summit I got coming up in July. Sign up. If you haven't signed up, early bird specials end May 15th. May 15th, early bird specials. Guys, the event is going to be the Mac Daddy of them all. And it's July 11th to the 14th, Los Angeles, California, downtown LA, right next to the Staples Center, or now it's called something else. But it's July 11th to the 14th, right there, downtown LA, JW Marriott. $100 off before May 15th. You have a personalized signed copy of my new True Strength book if you sign up for the Impact Summit before May 15th. And with early birds, $1,000 of gifts and prizes. No joke. We have an awesome set of valued vendors and folks who will be in the room. $1,000 in value if you sign up. Just go to toddurkin.com. You'll see the link. Sign up for the Impact Summit before May 15th. Be in the room. Bring a friend, a spouse. You don't have to be a trainer or coach to be in the room. Anyone who is a growth mindset person and who's looking to get to the next level, we have 12, count them, 12 different presenters. In addition to yours truly, I've got 4 keynotes at the 2.5-day event: podcast row, networking, partying, workouts, chapel, whatever you'd like. We've got it all. Be in the room for the Impact Summit. And the second thing, I recently announced my new True Strength book. Yep, my True Strength book is coming out here June 18th. It's going to be available for sale May 31st. I believe it is May 31st. It's coming up in a few weeks. Get ready to sign up because we're going to have some awesome specials for all you early birds who sign up as of May 31st. I would love for you to be getting the early edition to True Strength end of this month. By the end of this month, it'll be a bit available for you, True Strength. Make sure you're on my email list. Just go to toddurkin.com, sign up for the email list. You won't miss a single email when you do that. So between True Strength, the book coming up the end of this month, May 30th, 31st, and then it's coming out on June 18th. And of course, we've got our big Impact Summit. Those are the only announcements I have right now. That being said, are you ready to dive in to the State of the Union? Yep, we're talking politics, people, and the fitness industry. And when it comes to politics, you're like, oh man, what's TD going to say? Because the number of questions I get from y'all with my DMs and offline with, hey, where do you stand politically? I love that question. We may have to go deeper some other time, but this is about as political as I'm going to get. We're a mess. We're an absolute mess. This country's a mess. It despises me to see some of the things that are happening. And I have discussions with some of my closest inner circle people of how do we get out of this? So much divisiveness and where we're at. And I'll never forget my good friend, Pastor David Jeremiah, said something to me a few years ago that was more powerful than anything that I have ever heard. And he said this at the time: my God is bigger than our governor or our president or anyone else. My God is bigger than our governor or our president, whoever that's going to be, or anything else. Moral of the story is this: when you put your faith in God and not the government, it's all going to work out. When you put your faith in God and not the government, it's all going to work, because when we get so darn political and we get carried away with all the politics and the stuff that's happening in our world, man, it is crazy. Can I get an amen? Anyone? Yeah, I heard y'all. Crazy. Why do I share this? Because it's a fact that the government affects the people, right? Many people rely on the government to take care of them. And we all know many of those people. I think this is a foolish act to rely on the government and taxes. We all have taxes. Of course, we have taxes. But many folks are reliant, or worse yet, expected to have the government take care of them. This is NG. This is not good. We don't want to be reliant on Uncle Sam to take care of us. That's not a good thing. So yes, TD, what's the solution? Leaders. We need more powerful leaders. Leaders, where are we at? It's time to step up. Leaders, where are you at? Where are we at? It's time to step up. I'm talking true leadership. Some are strong, good, and solid leaders who have our great nation at the forefront and not their own agenda. I must think there are some good young folks out there who can be some major impact leaders in our country. Anyone? Can we get an amen? Anyone out there today? I've got my man Brady and Trevor in the house listening in. Can I get an amen? Fellas. Amen. Yeah. Good. Yeah, we have a live audience today. You're like, wait, I thought you were by yourself. No, I got my man Brady and his great friend Trevor here in the house today on the pod, because we're looking for great leaders. So throughout America, all my young folks, we need to step up, because of a great opportunity. Because whenever there's a problem, there's an opportunity. Let me repeat, whenever there's a problem, there's an opportunity. And all you old folks, people like me, there's an opportunity for great leaders to step up. And when I say, where are they? It's time to step up. I actually think there are great leaders out there. And I know for a fact that we have some great people. Many, or most, don't want to go through the meat grinder of having their life exposed publicly of something they did that was dumb, maybe when they were in their 20s or when they were young in their career in their 30s. So they choose to play it safe and not run for office. Well, it is what it is, but it's time. It's time. I'm not sure who this next rising star is, or who that star is right now that's going to step into politics or step into the government or step into our country and do something about it. But they're out there, and it needs to happen the next 2 to 3 years, or we are sunk. We're sunk. That's about as political as I'm going to get here on the Impact Show. But I'm going to say this. I believe in our country. I believe in our people. And I believe in you. And I believe in myself, that when we have our minds right and we have our hearts and souls right, and we're following God, not our governor, our God, and being guided by that, and we do that, then great things are going to happen. So one is the country, the politics of the country, and two is the people. People today, we have some jacked up people. Can I get an amen to that? We have some jacked up people. Again, I told you this show today was about as political as I'm ever going to get. And I've done 358 shows. And this is going to be as controversial as I've had. But it's crucial, because you all keep asking, where do you stand with this? And I think as a society, we would rather find fault or what's wrong or past dumb stuff someone's done, and they hang their hat on that of some stupid thing they did 30 years ago, than account for the works, leadership, vision, and character someone has today. And I ask myself, why is that? Why? Why do we constantly berate people and put them down and find wrong or fault with people of something that happened 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago? Why do our minds want to be bottom dwellers and gutter hangers? Not good. And I believe that we got to rise above. All of us, we got to rise above this. You're like, oh yeah, TD, you're on the holy grail. And listen, this is something to me that for us, our people, you and me alike, we got to acknowledge it, and we got to rise above. It's easy to get fallen down to the quagmire and sit at the bottom of the mud puddle and sling it. Hey, you're like, maybe I'm jacked up. Maybe you're jacked up. Listen, you're going to hear in True Strength coming out in June. I was jacked up. Anyone else jacked up today? Physically, mentally, or jacked up? I share it all. I unbear it all. I am not a Pollyanna that's going to be like, hey, everything is all good. I want to say that we're going to acknowledge it. We're going to attack it. And as men and women of this country and of this world, it's time to do something about it. I share it all in True Strength. You're going to get it all in True Strength. But I was jacked up physically. And when you're jacked up physically, you're jacked up mentally. When that's the case, when I say you got to get your mind right, you got to get your mind right. And if you're jacked up right now, can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? If you're jacked up physically, how the heck you got to battle it every day to get your mind right? I believe that we all got something. My man, Dave Sider, right? Sider, man I coach and a very successful attorney. He said, we all got something, TD. I'm like, you better believe we all got something. Today, I'm talking about people who are, I don't know, people who are reacting to everything that the government says to do. Puppets, wanting the government to provide them with subsidies, relief, paychecks, housing, citizenship. Not good. People who are reacting. Let's not be puppets, my friends. Let's not be a puppet of whatever the government says. We just act and do whatever they say. Number two, the people who are spending all their time doing nothing, watching TV, CNN, or Fox, becoming more and more divisive as our whole country is more and more divisive and more opinionated. I mean, whatever happened to the good old days when a Republican and a Democrat could argue and then sit down and have a coffee and a meal together? Whatever happened to those days? They're far gone. But man, I think today's party leaders would never be caught dead in church together, let alone breaking bread together. Could you imagine that? How do we get back to some good old core values? Number three, people who want and wait for the world to come to them. Success is not going to come in the form of a governmental check. You got to hustle. You got to work. It doesn't matter if you're 20, you're 50, you're 75. You got to get out there and create your own future and not rely on anyone else. Can you hear me? Can you feel me? I mean, number four, people. When I talk about people who are not living as their best self. I know I'm preaching to the choir today here, but it's important that you know there's other people out there who are trying to do the right thing and not be so divisive that we're tearing our country apart, where you have your dreams gone and shattered and we sink down to the rest of society's mediocre garbage thinking. Not going to happen. If you can tell, I'm a little fired up because what I'm watching on TV, when I watch it, the very little I watch it, or on social media, that's not us, that's not me, and that's not you. So we got to rise above that, because number five, I have people who are self-medicating yourself with food or drugs, prescription or recreational, by the way, TV, porn, social media. It's all just a darn filler of time because we're self-medicating. And that weakens the mind, and that weakens the body, and it certainly weakens the soul. Acknowledge it. How are you going to approach it? And what are we going to do about it? Number six, people who are not working out, people who are not exercising. You're like, what the heck does that have to do with anything you're talking about? And let me just retort back. Everything, every darn thing. Look at the darn stats, my friends. I'm fired up today because when you look at all of this stuff, we're trying to make our country better. We're trying to make the world better. We're trying to make every one of us better. And I see that 41.9% of adults have obesity. 41% obese. 19.7. 20% of our children have obesity. In 2024, that's this year, 71% of adults aged 20 or over are overweight. 71%. Well, how does that affect us? Because when we're not taking care of ourselves, it affects our mindset, our mental health. Thank you, Forbes Health. Obesity rates by race and ethnicity. It breaks it on down. We look at all these things. I look at obesity rates by state. West Virginia. Come on, West Virginia. Man, 40% in West Virginia. But then I'm like, Washington, D.C. has the lowest at 24%. I'm like, what are all of our politicians are running around, man? Like, literally, wherever you're at, doesn't matter what state you're in, we got to make sure that we're working out. Gym memberships. Okay. 20% of the US has a gym membership. And this is a good thing, but not a good thing. Good for the 20% of you that have a gym membership. Some of you work out at the home. Fantastic, as long as you're working out. But how do we get this up and double it? We're 40% because it shows statistics, analytics show that when you're working out mentally, we're stronger, we're better people, we're better husbands and wives and better parents. Like, we need to be working out. If next week I happen to say I'm running for office, some of you are like, are you running for office? If that was the case and what I share, it's going to be mandatory. You got to work out. Now you're like, no way, TD. Like, this obviously you're not going to be running for office if you're making it mandatory. I'm just telling you, you might as well make it mandatory in this darn country. You got to work out. Look at some of the 1950s when you got people climbing ladders in their mandatory PE all the way up through 12th grade. And maybe that's going to be the way it is. Depends who gets elected to office, my friends. This is nothing more than a state of union of where we're at. Number 7, when I'm talking about people today, people who no longer go to church or the temple or the synagogue. We're living in a time that is overwhelmingly spiritually devoid. Think about that. This is dangerous. We're left to our own devices. We have empty churches these days more than ever before, yet we have more confusion, complexity, and stress than in our nation's history or in our world's history. And we look for our country to solve our problems. I shared earlier on that God is the answer, not our governor or the politics, but we're looking for people to be the answer. So as temples and synagogues and churches nationwide and worldwide are more and more devoid, how are we going to get more faith in our life? Faith. Notice I didn't say religion. I said faith. How are we going to do that? That's my question. That's my question I've been pondering for a year plus of how can I be the solution to the problem and get more faith back in our life? Number 8, people. Of course, I have to have 10. People who are mentally weak. I know not you. I know you're not mentally weak. That's why you're here on the show. Thank you. Told you I'm going to get a little more cray-cray than normal today as I'm talking the State of the Union. But your success relies on you being mentally strong. Get your mind right. Get your mind right. Get your mind right. But why is it we have so many people today who are consistently mentally weak? Like a muscle that needs to be strengthened. The mind needs to be nourished daily. I said we need to nourish the mind daily. Not once a week, not twice a week, and not even 3 times a week. Daily nourishment of the mind. All day long. I shared in Get Your Mind Right, the book, in the opening chapter with 70,000 thoughts a day. We often have over 50,000 negative thoughts a day. 50,000 negative thoughts? Is that even possible? Yes, that's what the science proves. So how can we, you and me, change it around and become mentally strong and not mentally weak? Number 9 of 10, number 9, we have people who are in it for themselves. The look at me mentality. What about the goals, the dreams, the visions to change the world, to change your community or your family's lineage forever? Oh, Todd, I want to change my family's lineage. I want to change my community or my nation. Fantastic. I want to hang out with you. I want to hang out with the people who are committed to changing other people. Because when you do that, then you'll in turn change yourself. When that your mission is so big and your crusade is so strong, you say, I'm going to change this country. I'm going to change this world. And whatever that takes, you make it about that. Watch what happens. But in today's day, when you're pointing to the back of your jersey and the name on the back of your jersey all the time, what about the looking forward in that front windshield of where the heck we're going? That's what I want to know, and that's who I want to hang out with. And the State of the Union, I share this because these are the facts. And next week, you're going to hear about the solutions. These are the facts. And number 10, man, this drives me nuts. We're around people who want good, but succumb to mediocrity. They want good, they want great, but they succumb to mediocrity. Mediocrity is the enemy. Average is the enemy. Do not succumb to being average, sinking down to where everyone else is at, playing in this quagmire as you watch the news. I don't care if it's CNN or Fox. You listen to podcast after podcast on politics. Be careful who and what you listen to, my friends. What I need you to do is fill your mind, body, and soul up with more faith, more fitness, and more fortitude of what it's going to take for us to step into that vision so that you, me, and we can change this country and we can change this world. Can I get an amen? Anybody? Good. I heard y'all screaming around the neighborhoods preaching. Yeah. So I ask you, where do you stand? And how can we each be better at them? We're not great at all of them. But until the day I die, again, I'm going to die when I'm 110 years old. I know I'm going to die when I'm 110. So I got about 60 years left of like whatever that's going to take. But like, how do we be better? How can I be better? How can you be better? And how can we keep our mind focused on the big thing, right? And maybe for me, I know one of the things is doing a podcast like this and getting outside my comfort zone because I'm talking things I normally don't talk about. Well, I'm normally talking motivation. I'm talking health and fitness and how you can be your best. Today, I'm talking things outside my comfort zone because if I don't, you keep asking, hey, where do you stand with this? Now you know where I stand, right? My God is bigger than our governor and bigger than our president. Put our faith in that. And sharing a message like this on a podcast for yourself, or maybe it's recommitting yourself to be an even better version of yourself. What is it? Who is it? How do you step into that best person today? Declare it today. Declare it today. Because when I talk about country, I talk about people. And now let me get into my sweet spot, my friends. Let me talk about the State of the Union for our fitness industry. Woo! Take a deep breath. You're like, man, TD's in uncharted territories today on that. So are you ready? So let's talk about that. The state of the fitness industry. Where are we at? Wow, man, I'm excited about this. Really, really excited. We're in full-blown recovery mode in so many ways. And I feel like our industry, we had this 3-year war, and it was bloody, ugly, tough, challenging, exhausting. And now the world wants and needs to get back, and it's coming back. Man, oh man, I see a lot of excitement, a lot of energy. But at the same time, with people coming back and they know they need it, I see this fatigue and indecisiveness and soul searching going on, or is searching going on that. Maybe it's soul searching, maybe it's just searching for one's niche, searching for what's next. But I see searching going on with many of the people that I'm coaching or I'm sharing with, that I'm talking with, searching for, it could be even how to get to the next level, how to get to the next step. And I love that what is the next aspect. So I feel really, really positive about the state of where we're at in the fitness industry, as long as we as an industry take care of ourselves. And I know there's a lot of non-fit pros that listen to this as well. Welcome. And you'll probably resonate and relate to a lot of things I say here. But I share this because I'm on the inside, right? I talk to a lot of fitness pros. I coach a lot of fit pros. We have over 100 people in my mastermind group, and I present inside of our fitness industry all the time. And we're going into a very busy season of presenting with Perform Better and Can Fit Pro. And of course, my Impact Summit coming up this summer. I've got a lot of great contacts and relationships with some of the largest brands in fitness and wellness and within the lifestyle genre. So I asked myself this: what are the trends? What are the trends right now in May of 2024 as I record this? What do I see? And this is important because the State of the Union, how does this relate? It does relate to what I shared earlier with people and where they're at and what they're searching for. And also even from a political, governmental standpoint with where our country is at and how we need to serve our people, right? So, number one, when it comes to trends, is community. And there's never been a more important time than right now where people have yearned for community. Yearned. Why? Because in 2020 and 2021, man, people really realized how important community was as people got more and more isolated, and people want their people. And they want their people when they're working out, when they're doing their different events at a gym or a fitness facility. And there's no better community than the one of the fitness community where you can share in body, mind, and soul, literally all at once. And I believe the best gyms out there are the ones who create amazing communities. And there are a lot of amazing fitness communities in this country, in Canada, and throughout the world. And I know many of them, the largest brands, all the way down to even some of the smallest brands, some of the solopreneurs who are doing amazing things within communities nationwide and worldwide. And I love seeing the focus on communities. Let's keep that up. I also see group sessions are rocking. And again, when I think group sessions, I think community, fun, energy, challenging, all the things I said that were lacking in people earlier on. They can get that in a 45-minute or even a 60-minute group session. That's why I believe that you can get a great workout and get out all the stress and celebrate community in a group session. 3, private training. Man, private training is rocking again. I know here at FQ10, man, it's almost 70% of what we do. It always has been since year 2000 when I started Fitness Quest 10. Private training then was all we did, and then we added group, and then the group grew. But even today, with 60 to 70% of our training being private training, thank God. Why? Well, I love private training, and I know a lot of trainers love private training. I know they tried to throw the baby out with the bathwater years ago and say it was all semi-private and group and all that. But here's the thing, at least for myself and many of the other coaches who I work with, private training is a soul giver and not a soul sucker. When you can connect with someone deeply and find out all of the pain points, not just physically, but in their life of what they're struggling with, where they're challenged, and what they're looking to accomplish in their own professional life and personal life, you can truly, genuinely help someone when you're coaching them one-on-one in all aspects of their life. And that's an important aspect. And I love that ability to coach people. And whether it's one-on-one or one-on-three, when you can do some private training and take the level of accountability, motivation, inspiration to another level, the level of change is really, really awesome. So I believe that private training is going to continue to evolve. And as people have gotten more and more jacked up and their health has been dilapidated and eradicated, there needs to be even more great coaches and trainers out there who could serve people in a way that give them customized training and not just the groups of 20, 30, 40 or more people in a group session. I love the energy of a group, but you can really customize the training when you get more one-on-one or small group. Because number 4, and I've got 8 different trends here, 8 trends, count them. Number 4, just coaching in general. When I say coaching, I'm talking life coaching. It's what I started, years ago. I've always had different coaches, business coaches. I do that in my mastermind program. And then I started a life coaching program just last year, a certification program, the Todrick Impact Life Coaching Certification Program. It's why I started it, because I saw a need where people wanted to evolve into more than just trainers. And I believe that there are many people out there who are seeking out a coach who can help them take their own soul searching to the next level to begin to get some answers from within. Even right now, we certified 44 impact life coaches here in March of this year after a very rigorous and intensive 6-month program. And we're only doing that one time a year, typically about September. But I know that coaching is crucial today. At some level in your life, get a coach, whether it's a business coach, a life coach, a spiritual coach. Have someone or a small group of people that can hold you accountable for what you want. It's going to provide motivation. It's going to provide the accountability that's so necessary today, and a direction for people who are looking to regain their edge, or maybe even create an edge. If you don't have an edge, maybe you had an edge and you lost your edge and you're looking to get it back. Get a coach. Or if you're looking to create an edge because you feel like blasé, you feel like you're just showing up and you're not thriving, then get a coach that's been there, done that, and still doing it, and watch what happens with your own momentum in your life. Number five, when we look at trends in the fitness industry, I think of recovery. No brainer when it comes to recovery because of the amount of stress that's out there. And with high stress, we're saying, hey, people, get out there and get your high intensity exercise in. Make sure you're moving, and getting out there and getting your 120 plus minutes, 150 plus, minutes, 180 plus minutes a week. I'm like, well, if you get 30 minutes a day, 3 times a week, what is that, right? If we're getting 90 plus minutes minimum per week, that's good. It's not great, but it's good. Stress, it's at an all-time high, and people are working hard at work. They're working longer hours. There's more demands. There's technology has put more on our plates, not less. Technology has in some ways simplified our life, but in many ways also made it more complex. And when it comes to stress, all of us have expenses, right? You got expenses for living. You got expenses within your business. Cost of living has expanded. Inflation has gone through the roof. There's turmoil. The end result is stress. And therefore, we need to do two things when it comes to recovery. And I say yang, which is working out, yin and yang, yin and yang. So if you're in the fitness industry, you may understand those words. If you're not, you're like, what's yin and what's yang? Yang is powerful. It's hard working out. It's slamming medicine balls and lifting weights and the things that we often love to do when we work out. But recovery is also yin. Recovery, like yoga and breath work and meditation. This would be yin type activities. Y-I-N, yin. Or it could be dedicated to time doing recovery work, such as things that I love, like massage therapy and body work, or an infrared sauna, or red light therapy, or putting the compression boots on, or some vibroacoustic therapy, cold plunges. I mean, are any of you using any of those yin type recovery activities to replenish the systems? Because it's important that if you want more yang energy, right, and you want more output, then you got to go more yin. The combination of yin and yang are all different aspects that we can look at in the recovery step. And then number 6 of 8. Now, this is going to surprise you, but when I see trends, I look at trends of where we're at. That's why I covered country. That's why I covered people. I believe that faith, you're like, wait, how is that a trend inside of fitness? This is a more personal journey, but I do believe that the integration of body, mind, and soul is extremely powerful. And I don't believe that you can work out without affecting the mind. And I truly don't believe you work out without affecting the spirit, the soul of a person. They all work together, the Holy Trinity, right? Of body, mind, and soul. And I think it's impossible to not impact all three when you exercise. And if there's ever a time that we can amp up the need to nourish the spirit and one's faith, I do believe that exercise is a gateway to change one's life on all levels. So how do you do that? Well, I think that's open to the individual who might be conducting it, but those who are just exercising now, I find personally that even after one's workout, even after I work out, I love to take even a few minutes of quiet time and gratitude time and prayer time to be thankful. The fact that I actually just went out for a walk around the block or a jog or did a great resistance training workout like I did this morning at the home gym, right? Whatever it is, like faith, honor it. It's part of it. I do believe that as our country and our world has stepped further away, I talked about empty churches earlier on. Is well, if you're not going to go to church, how do you bring the church to the people? So if you're not going to, if someone's not going to go to church, then how do you bring the church to the people? Meaning the church, not necessarily the religion part, but the faith part of how do you bring the faith component into your life? And this is important, regardless of whatever your belief is how do we become spiritually stronger men and spiritually stronger women? Number 7 is technology with fitness. There's so many apps that track fitness. I love apps. I love technology, and there's some unbelievable technologies inside of fitness. And I think there's some unbelievable technologies inside of recovery. I recently went to our one of our industry's largest conventions and expos up at URSA in Los Angeles here in early March, and I saw the crazy amount of companies when it came to cold plunges and red light therapy and the different types of saunas, conventional saunas, infrared saunas, the many different ways that people and companies are affecting the recovery, the replenishment and rejuvenation of one's body, mind, and soul. And I think that's only going to accentuate and be pushed forward here with technology. And the last one, when it comes to trends within our fitness community, is live events. Live events are back. I love it. Can I get an amen to anyone that live events are back? And most of us love live events. Not everyone, but most of us love live events. If you're in the fitness industry, get back to a local event. Get back to one national event. Maybe it's going to be one of the Perform Better shows. I'm at 3 of the 4 coming up. I'll put all of these in the show notes. We've got the Impact Summit coming up here in July, 11th to the 14th. CanFit Pro. I'm so excited to get back to CanFit Pro in Toronto in August. It's the first time since 2019 that I've been back. 5 years, guys, 5 years. Maybe you haven't been back to an industry event in 5 years as well. Show up at them and connect with other fire-breathing dragons. Press the flesh with other coaches and other mind right maniacs who are on fire to serve people, right? That's what we do. But we need to get these events rocking again. And the way to do that is to show up. And again, I'm going to be in Orlando, Florida, Providence, Rhode Island, Los Angeles, Toronto. And I'm so excited for that. And I've been sharing it, the Impact Summit. I'm telling you what, I created my own event this year it's at the same time as Idea World. I've always been a part of Idea World. And the folks over at Idea World, when we got together, said, hey, let's create our own event. So the Todd Durkin Impact Summit is one that I'm really excited about. Why? Because we're going to have a couple hundred people connecting live in the room of all different ages, shapes, sizes, people, not just Fit Pros, trainers, and coaches. When you look at the 12 talks plus 4 of mine, you see an entire community of people and networking of like-minded people who are going to be in the room. And I always say, be in the room, be in the room, be in the room. That's where the magic happens. It's easy for our own mindsets to say, man, like, I don't know if I can be in the room. It's not a great weekend. It's expensive. Well, number one, it's not expensive when you look at what you're going to receive, and the investment you make in yourself is going to far surpass what the cost of it is going to be, and it's going to provide you with a network of people that you can't even imagine right now, and who's going to be in that room, what you're going to get, and the visions, dreams, and goals that you set are going to be through the roof. Heck, I just announced last week my live retreat for my mastermind and my Impact X coaching group for November. Yeah, for November, the November retreat. Now, this is a private event for our masterminders and Impact X coaching, is going to be back in Whitefish, Montana. I love Whitefish, Montana. I talk about Whitefish, Montana all the time and what I'm doing out there, but that's how much I believe in live events, whatever live event that you go to. And I invite you, please, all of you, to come to one of our events, whether it be a Perform Better event, the Impact Summit, the retreat, because you're part of the mastermind. Show up and be the room. Because listen, when you can go to 1 to 2 live events minimally, I do believe that great things happen. And I'm saying there now, right now, is be there even more. Zoom doesn't cut it. It doesn't feed your soul like when you press the flesh with other great people. Nothing replaces live. So there you have it. 8 trends, all things that are great opportunities right now. The important thing is that you step into opportunity. Don't just listen to opportunity, step into it, because it's going to get your soul even more on fire and turn the light on inside of you. Turn that fire on within you that you can spread to your community, your country, and this world that so desperately needs it. Yup. All because of fitness? Yes. Whether you're a trainer, coach, fit pro, or you're not, by going and showing up at your local gym and training and being part of the community, great things happen, because then you are affecting the people there, and you're going to take that and go affect the people in your own job, in the work that you do, which in turn impacts the world. And that's why I'm going to, when I announce and declare, oh, I can't say that yet. That's next week. That's next week. So make sure you tune in next week. I wanted today to share my State of the Union. The State of the Union, and I share, I get as political as I've ever gotten. Wasn't very political. And I share with where people are at. And when I look at people and I look at consumer insights, my friends, the time is now. Time is now. We must become better. We must recommit ourselves to being our best self. We got to remember why we exist. Why do we exist? And we got to keep our focus on that. We must remember that God is the ruler of this universe, and not a president, a governor, or a mayor, but that God is, and that we can influence and impact people when we have our own lives right, even though we all got something. We all got something. Just trust me. Listen to next week's episode and also read True Strength, and you're going to hear more than you bargained for, and how, well, I'm not even going to say it. And fitness is the cornerstone to all we do. Listen, the world needs help, and it needs it now. The question is, at what level are you going to participate? Are you going to be a spectator, or are you going to be a participant? Are you going to be a puppet or a party leader? Are you going to be an impact taker or an impact maker? Or maybe both. You could be a maker and a taker when it comes to impact, because I want you to take some impact, but in turn, go make some impact out there. And I'm going to leave you with this. Next week is a continuation of this week. I will share the biggest news of my 25-year career inside of fitness on next week's podcast show. And after 3.5 years of the darkest, emptiest, most depressing time of my life, the light was turned back on. And I can't wait to share it with you, what I've been holding close to my vest for almost a year now. So make sure you tune in to episode 359 for the big announcement. I'm going to reveal all then. I'll preface it by saying this. Many of you asked me, are you retiring or are you rewiring? Some of you asked me if I was going to become a pastor of a church. Some of you asked me if I'm going to be running for office in politics, or why don't you run for office? Why don't you get into the running? Well, I'm going to let you chew on it this week and make sure that your mind is right. and get out there and get ready to rock and roll. Because when I talk about creating the biggest impact of my life and your life, it's coming, and it's coming next week. Tune in. I can't wait to see you. Thank you for listening to the State of the Union. I hope you enjoyed that. You've been asking for my thoughts and opinions, and you just heard where I'm at and about as political as I want to get, and talking about people and those 10 different ways and the 8 different trends. You heard it all. But let me tell you what, the State of the Union prepares you for what you're about to hear next week. Buckle up. Until next time, don't forget, train hard, eat right, live inspired, and go create impact. Hey guys, you've been hearing me talk about the Todd Durkin Mastermind Group, and it's a group I've been leading now for 17 years. If you're a coach, trainer, or fit pro, and you want to get your game to the next level, your business, your entrepreneurship, your branding, your in the trenches acumen, and of course, your own personal growth and development, I would be honored to coach you inside of the Todd Durkin Mastermind Group. There's 2 different levels. You choose which level you want to play at. You want to get in the game, be in the Institute. The Institute is a no-brainer. You need to be in the Todd Durkin Mastermind Institute. If you want to play at an even higher level, get into the platinum level. This is where you have me as your coach, as well as one of my additional coaches for one-on-one coaching, as well as a team of people. All of that's on the website. Take a look, Todd Durkin Mastermind. And when you play at that level, I promise you, your fitness career will be taken to the next level. Now is the time to sign up for the Todd Durkin Mastermind Group. When you do that, you're going to take your fitness and personal game to the next level. Sign up today. Thank me tomorrow. I'll see you on the inside. Hey, trainers, coaches, fit pros, I have a special invitation for you to be part of my exclusive Todd Durkin Mastermind Coaching Group. Some of you have asked, what are the different levels? There's 2 different levels, the Institute and the Platinum level. If you just want to get in the game, I promise you, by getting into the Todd Durkin Mastermind Institute, you're in the game, and you're going to get some unbelievable content when it comes to business, leadership, in the trenches acumen, and of course, personal growth. If you want to take your game to the next level, then be in the Todd Durkin Mastermind Institute. If you really want to play at the highest level, then become part of the platinum level of my Todd Durkin Mastermind. The Todd Durkin Mastermind Platinum level is not just me coaching you, but one of my appointed coaches who will hold you accountable one-on-one, along with a team of other coaches who are really going to heighten your awareness in all aspects of the fitness business game. Get in the game. Also, when you're part of my exclusive Todd Durkin Mastermind program, you will have access to all of my different live retreats, including the one I just announced that's going to be held this fall in beautiful Whitefish, Montana. Now, you got to be part of my Todd Durkin Mastermind to be part of that retreat. So don't delay. Sign up today. Head over to todddurkin.com, take a look at Mastermind, click on that, get all the details, and then sign up for the Todd Durkin Mastermind program. Whether you choose the Institute or the Platinum level, I assure you this will be one of the best moves that you make all year long.